What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bro Tech Gaming Podcast. My name is Carlos. This is the homie Sean on this side over here. So we just got done watching The Last of Us episode 4, titled Please Hold My Hand.
Yep.
And before we jump into that, we are drinking, we got? Vanilla Porter.
Vanilla Porter from Trader Joe's.
Yes. Cheers.
Breckenridge Brewery.
Yes. Cheers to another good episode.
Tink.
All right, so before we get into the breakdown of this one, I kind of want to talk about last week's episode, just very briefly. I've seen like a lot of hate on episode 3. A lot of people didn't like the way that they portrayed Bill and Frank, and honestly, it's kind of dumb to think that way. It was a really good episode. We gave 8 out of 10s. I don't know. My opinion is just, if you don't like it, don't watch it. We're not gonna lose sleep over people who complain about dumb things.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard a lot of different kinds of criticism, but like ultimately, it's kind of like no surprise the type of people that are disagreeing with the episode. The people that are disagreeing with it, in my opinion, didn't even really like play the games. Like, I think it's just for the sake of hating on it, just because of like what the content of the episode was. People are saying like, well, you like you didn't do like any, like, you disrespected Bill's character. A lot of people said that, and I'm like, well, I mean, Bill's character was gay in the game.
Yeah.
So they actually did more for Bill's character in the show to add respect to his character. So I'm not really sure how people think that he was disrespected. Like, we're getting a different version of him, but it shed so much light on other things that matter in the world. Like, it's one thing to play a video game about like a survival post-apocalypse action thing, but like you have to add a little bit of like story development. You have to add like compassion to it. You need more things to care about than just watching like Joel like pull Ellie through like every problem, every issue. Like, that works in a game, that doesn't work in a show. So the people that are hating on it, I think, are just, out of line. I don't think they were truly even like fans of the game, let alone fans of the show to begin with. I just think they wanted something to complain about.
Yep. Completely agree. Because the only thing I had a problem with was just like Joel and Ellie weren't in the episode that much, and I just wanted more banter between them.
Yeah.
So
that was the only downside for me.
Yeah, so going into the next episode, that's exactly what we start off with, is Joel and Ellie.
Yep.
So they're driving. She found the magazine in the back of the truck.
We got the magazine scene.
Yeah,
I was waiting for that. I was actually happy. I was happy they included that.
Yeah, I knew it, like as soon as she picked up the magazine, I was like, oh, here it comes.
Word for word too. So they did justice to the game for sure. They're definitely back on track with this one.
Yeah.
So
Ellie's on map duties. Joel's driving. They're kind of talking about the world, how it was before. They have Ellie start off in the bathroom. She's messing around with her gun, doing her little pew pew, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
She throws the gun in the bag, and obviously, she's gonna use it for later. So they're back on the road. He pulls over into the forest where they kind of bunker down for the night. He says he wants to get some sleep, but he ends up standing guard anyways.
Yeah.
And she's hitting him up with the jokes out of the book, the puns book, which I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, I thought it was like an interesting twist, because like the game, it was the comic books. Like, she was kind of reading in the comic books, but I kind of like that they kind of like gave Ellie in the show sort of like her own thing, which in this case is like the book of puns, which is it's just kind of cute throughout the episode. So
yeah, I like it. He doesn't like it too much at first because I feel like he's kind of reminded of his daughter.
Yeah,
so he kind of shuts her down with that. So after they wake up, he makes the coffee, and I guess she doesn't like coffee, or she's never had coffee before.
Apparently there's a Starbucks in the QZ that we don't know about.
Yeah, well, I think it's just the storefront, but there's like nothing inside there.
Oh, okay, sure.
So they hit up Kansas City, which in the game they hit up Pittsburgh. So
Yeah.
that was a little bit of a change from the game to the show,
Hmm.
which I'm not mad at. Like it's just a city. That's all it is. So it doesn't really
Yeah,
make a bigger difference.
I don't think that really matters too much. And honestly, like if you're just watching the show and they mention Kansas City, like I don't think anybody would think differently or have any like negative comment about what city they're in. So they're either way they're trying to get north. So
Yeah. So then so they go to the, was it like an overcross where it's blocked off? So they have to find a way around it. Which they do. They end up in the city, and just like in the game, they have the guy kind of stumble out asking for help, and they put their seatbelts on to run him to drive past him. But in the game, I remember the guy started shooting at him. In the show, he just kind of jumped out of the way, and
yeah.
the guy on the stairs, the like the fire escape, throws a big like cinder block on their windshield.
I thought that was actually kind of crazy. Like the big cinder block like falling. I'm like, damn, like they're using all their resources right now. So like it could have been like a Molotov or anything, but I'm like, damn, they dropping bricks on people.
Yeah,
So,
that was
that's kind of
crazy.
crazy.
They ran over some nails in the road, and then they crash into a building, which then they start getting shot at. He tells her to hide into like a hole in the wall, and he shoots two of them, but there was a third one that comes through the door and kind of catches him off guard, and the guy starts choking him out with his gun. So Ellie gets her gun and shoots him in the back. I'm guessing that she hit him like right in the spine or something, because he said that he couldn't feel his legs anymore.
Some of the lower back because she probably, I mean, she when she was aiming it, she was aiming kind of low in the first place.
Yeah,
So
and he was hunched over a lot, so
yeah,
I'm guessing she got the spine. So Joel tells her to go back into the wall, and Joel finishes him off. So then they make their way into another building, just to hide out for the moment. And then we get introduced to Kathleen, which is, I guess, the head of this group inside the city.
yeah,
And when they drag the bodies to the middle of the city, they kind of do like a shot where it shows like everybody that's in there, and there's a lot of people in that city right
yeah,
now.
yeah. I mean, it's basically like its own. I don't know because like me and Michelle noticed, like they mentioned like Fedra is not there anymore, so this is clearly like probably like members of a city that were once under federal law, and now for some reason like Fedra's gone, either because they like mutinied and overpowered them, or maybe just Fedra left. Who knows? But these are basically just like all the leftover people that stuck around that probably were done with Fedra's crap. So
Yeah, because a lot of the vehicles that they're driving around in is Fedra stuff. They just kind of
yeah,
crossed it out.
yeah,
So she's talking to the doctor. He's getting interrogated for the people that she's looking for. It was Kenny and Sam, or what's the guy's name?
Henry. It's a Henry and Sam,
Okay,
which we don't
Henry
know.
and Sam.
But we know Henry. We know Henry's the main dude that she's looking for.
Yeah. So she's interrogating him for Henry and Sam, or just Henry as of right now. But she knows of Sam because they find their little hiding spot in the attic, and she says that they're out of food and that Henry wouldn't let Sam go hungry.
Yeah.
So so then the guy with the beard, I don't think they ever mention his name, but with the big like white
No.
beard.
Yeah.
So he takes her into a building, and you kind of see like a little hole in the ground.
Hmm.
And I thought it was more of like at first glance I thought it was how like the cordyceps kind of talk to each other. I thought it was one of those, but then you kind
Yeah.
of see the ground kind of like breathe,
Oh, and
and
it kind of like rolls. It ripples.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
as soon as I saw that, I was like, bloater. That's where the bloater's
Yeah.
at.
That's what Michelle said too.
And
So I think they're setting up an entrance for the bloater in whichever episode it's going to be. Another interesting Easter egg too is the soldier that was with Kathleen, the decked out soldier with like the gray beard. That actor's name is Jeffrey Pierce. Jeffrey Pierce is the voice actor for Tommy in the video game. So a little Easter egg for people.
nice. I didn't even know that. It's a cool fun fact. So not that much happens in this episode. We pick up with Joel and Ellie again. They make it to an apartment building, like a tall, like skyrise one. I'm guessing there was like 50 something stories in there, and he says, we're gonna go as high as I can make it.
Yeah.
So they get up there. Joel spreads some glass so he can hear if somebody steps in there, which kind of reminds me of Mission Impossible when Tom Cruise does that. He breaks the light bulb and puts the shards in front of the door.
If I remember that.
The very first Mission Impossible, kind of like when their whole mission has like failed.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a very small thing in that movie, but it happened. I remember it.
Okay.
So they go back to their banter about the puns, and she says, "Do you know that diarrhea runs in the family?" And he's all like, "What?" Or like it was like hereditary or something like that. And he's like, "What?" And she was like, "Yeah, it runs in your genes." And like they have a moment,
Oh yeah.
and that was cool. That was cool to see that because that's what we've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
So they fall asleep, and then they wake up to Henry and Sam pointing guns at them, and credits.
Episode ends. Yeah. Yeah. So I think overall, like it's good. Like I like that the episode got back on track. Um, like the parts that were with Joel and Ellie, even with some of the added scenes, I felt like were very necessary. Definitely showing and trying to progress like their relationships throughout the show. Like you can see that Joel's finally warming up to her, and that's good. I like that they kind of kept everything sort of accurate to the game. I don't know how I feel about introducing like Kathleen into the show as sort of like an antagonist, because we didn't have that in the game, and I guess it makes sense from like a storytelling narrative because you need like an antagonist, you need to put a face to somebody that's sort of like directing and controlling like all of these people. Um I just don't really like believe her as like a bad person. Like I don't know if it's because of the person they cast or the way they're portraying her, but like I kind of think of like the people like different factions in the game, they're like a lot more ruthless and a lot more brutal. And like I don't know if I'm supposed to feel sorry for them. I don't know if I'm supposed to care about them. But now we're also adding backstory to why like Henry and Sam are sort of like on the run, because we didn't really have that in the game. You just kind of met them. They're just trying to survive, kind of just like how Joel and Ellie are. So now we have like a little, backstory. Like, well, they're on the run because Kathleen's after them. So I guess it just adds depth to their character. It just, for me, it was kind of the one thing that took me out of the episode a little bit. Like, I feel like I would have just rather they just stuck to Joel and Ellie, for them progressing through the city and trying to get through like people and checkpoints, versus focusing on this like side narrative. But I guess it's giving us also sort of like a teaser for maybe the bloater that's going to be coming up soon.
Yeah,
So
definitely. She seemed a little like kind of like not what do you call it? Like confident in interrogating him because she pointed the gun
yeah,
at him and he was just like, you're not going to do it because I'm your doctor.
yeah.
And she doesn't do it at that time, and then once she sees the dead body, she goes in there and shoots him.
I feel like they could have done that so much better too, because when he was just like I delivered you to this world, and then she could have been like, well, I deliver you to hell, like boom, like that would have been like, I don't know, but I don't know. I think she could have been like a little bit more like ruthless. I'm not really sure where they're going with her character and like the crowd that she's leading. Why are they following her? Why is she so important? So I don't know. Maybe it's too soon to tell. But that's kind of the only thing that sort of took me out of the episode a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. And she looked really scared when she saw the ground moving where the bloater was.
Yeah.
And like her choice to not address it right away is, it's gonna come back and bite her in the ass.
Yeah, like it's dumb. It's like no, don't tell anybody yet. Like we just have like this big thing. It's like rolling around in
Yeah.
space in it. So that's definitely gonna come back to bite her. But hopefully they're not characters that we feel too vested in later because they're just if they die, then they die. But Yeah, we're finally getting the teaser, I think, for the bloater coming up.
Yeah, for sure. That was for me. That was the most exciting part of the episode. Just like that 2 seconds of the ground moving, just because you already
Yeah,
know what's gonna happen.
yeah.
So yeah. So with that, that's pretty much the episode. What would you rate it?
Um, I kind of, I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm kind of split between like a 7.5 to 8. Like the reason why is because the parts with Joel and Ellie I felt were really, really good. The Kathleen scenes took me away from the episode a little bit. Like I kind of didn't care as much for her scenes compared to the Joel and Ellie stuff. Um, and this is kind of the first episode where I felt like I wanted more out of it at the end. Like the other three, it kind of ended and it sort of like made sense where they left off. Like you're excited for the next episode. This one I was like, okay, like I wish they would have given us like another 15 minutes somewhere, or I wish there would have been like a little bit more in Joel and Ellie's progress. So that's kind of the reason why I rate it where I do, is because it sort of felt almost incomplete to me compared to the other three episodes. But I still, I still like it. It's still good. So I'm obviously excited for more to come.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll give it about a 8 out of 10.
Hmm.
I felt like it was good. I felt like it was too short.
Yeah,
Like the same thing. I wanted more. They like every episode has been over like an hour, and then this one they
yeah.
cut short, right when you're kind of getting into the action.
Hmm. And
Um,
especially with like the second episode, because you have that one was also 50 minutes, but you kind of felt like it ended right where it needed to end. Like when Tess does her thing, like that was a good like transition to another episode. And I really wasn't sure where that could have been in this particular episode. So I'm glad we met Sam and Henry. So we'll see how the next one goes.
yeah, they definitely left it on a cliffhanger, so excited for
Hmm.
next week.
Yeah.
And next week is Super Bowl Sunday, so we might have a duel. We might be together right here doing the breakdown. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see. We'll see what happens with that one.
Yeah, so that's it for this one. I don't feel
Yeah.
like we have too much other to talk about.
No, no, pretty straightforward. I'm sure we'll think of other stuff later on that we didn't think about right now. But overall, I felt like the episode was good. All the scenes with Joel and Ellie were good and mostly accurate to the game with a little added bonus type stuff. So no complaints on their contribution to the episode.
All
So
right.
still a thumbs up.
So yeah, so still excited for next week. We're still going to be doing these because every episode has been good so far, and that's what we wanted.
Yep.
All right, so we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for watching Bro Tech Gaming Podcast covering The Last of Us episode 4, the episode called Please Hold My Hand. And
Thanks,
we'll see
guys.
you guys next week.
See you later.
Peace out.